Welcome to the virtual red carpet premiere of the award-winning short film One Room by King Abalos on Ganap TV. Okay, hello mga kaganap. Welcome back sa aming show. We have a very special guest and we're gonna talk about yung kanyang mga projects, mga previous and upcoming projects. Right, John?
Yes, another multi-talented and awarded director ang guest natin. Alam mo, natutuwa ako kasi those directors that we have guested, talagang we're so blessed kasi nga talagang puro mga known and awarded and
Award-winning,
famous,
yes.
director. Kaya excited tayong malaman pa ang lahat-lahat about it.
Yes.
So introduce mo na, Bench.
Yes, mga kaganap, please welcome our guest for today is Mr. King Abalos. Our guest for today is an award-winning filmmaker from the Philippines. He has produced, written, and several films, most notably the psychological thriller Maria, which was selected for the Mostra Internacional de Films de Escolas de Cinema in Portugal, and produced the multi-awarded film Ophelia, an official selection for the Cannes Film Festival in France. Maria also won the Bronze Prize at the Filipino Arts and Cinema International Festival. These films are rooted in philosophical, scientific, psychological concepts, exploring human tendencies, the construction of time, and the malleable nature of memory and personal identity. Mga kaganap, Mr. King Abalos. Hello, King. Good afternoon.
Hi everyone.
Welcome to GanapTV.
I'm honored to be here.
Yeah.
Please greet our viewers ng mga ganap.
Hello mga kaganap, my name is King Abalos and it's my pleasure to be here.
Ay, nako, alam mo parang natitense si Direk. Diba?
Short
Parang
and simple.
alam mo minsan nakakatuwa kasi yung mga director, di ba? Because they're used to be behind the scene. So parang once they've been exposed to like this, mga television parang nahihiya sila.
Ay,
Parang
no.
ganon ata ang
Yeah.
mga director, direct.
Yeah. We love to give orders pero from behind the camera. Pag nasa harap na kami ng camera, medyo hindi kami sanay.
Shy type.
Yeah.
At saka parang ayaw ata nilang sila ang dinidirect.
Yeah, medyo.
Mas sila,
Yeah.
Actually,
mas sanay silang nagdidirect.
and then dyan, di ba, sabi ko sa'yo nung last time, parang ako yung natatense. Parang hindi ko alam kung paano kayo didirect si Direct.
Oo, kasi di ba may previous guest natin na si Direct Noel,
Well
diba?
naman,
Dinirect
maalala
mo.
mo kaya? Oo. Nahiya ako bigla.
Ayan. So, Direct, King,
Yeah.
tell us about yourself. Tell us about your projects, your previous project, and all the things that you have been doing.
Yeah, right now, because of course COVID, I'm actually very strict sa quarantine. So I'm not really filming outside, and really the guidelines is not clear yet. So right now, every project is canceled or postponed for the time being. And but I've been in this industry for 10 years. So I've done everything from being a PA, an intern. I've been in production design. I've been in cinematography, and then slowly I just started learning things. But first and foremost, I was a writer. So even before I started being in the industry, I was already a writer. So I've been writing. I've been the editor in chief for a paper. I've also been published before for my prose. So I also write prose and articles. So it started that way. And yeah, 10 years from now, 10 years since then, here I am.
So it means Direct talaga nag-start ka from ano talaga, like sabi mo from
Scratch.
PA. Yeah. Oo.
Mhm.
But since then, talagang dream mo talaga na maging director.
Well, not director per se. My what I really wanted was to tell stories. So it doesn't matter what form they took. I started writing when I was in grade school. I was writing manga. Tapos when I was in high school, I was writing short stories. And after college, I wanted to write a novel, but I don't think I'm at that age yet that I can focus on writing a novel. I found it really difficult. I was into like 50 pages, and when I read my own material, it was terrible. So I just junked the whole thing. I don't think it was really any good. I think I can try becoming a novelist siguro in my later years when I'm 50 or yung medyo mas kaya ko na mag-focus. So I started to I was advised to try writing screenplays. And dun ko na-realize na mas madali siya para sa akin. So I started writing scripts, and at the same time, since nagsusulat na ako ng script, I wanted to learn more about cinema itself. So I started interning for other directors. Like the first director I interned for was Jason Polaksamana. The last movie he made was, I think, the one with Ann Curtis and Marco Gumabaw. Just a Stranger.
Yeah.
Yeah, the director of Just a Stranger. He was an indie filmmaker back then, so medyo he was still starting, and I was fortunate enough that I got to intern for him. So essentially, marami sa mga alam ko natutunan ko sa kanya. And then after that, I went to film school at Asia Pacific Film Institute. That was 2014. And yeah, so dun na ako mas nakapag-network, and I actually learned from many of my classmates and syempre also my professors. And doon ko nakilala si Richard Somes, who I also interned for, and I considered myself an apprentice. I also apprenticed for EJ Salcedo, who was actually more of like a spiritual mentor to me, like a Jedi master. Siya yung talagang nag-mold sa akin into finding an identity as a filmmaker. And yeah, so I was mainly a screenwriter back then. Pero I realized when other directors shoot my scripts, they weren't really exactly how I envisioned them to be shot or to be directed. So I started to direct my own. And doon ko na realize na it's not really about, like, to me, marami kasi ngayon, they want to become directors just for the title or for the
Prestige.
glory of it, I guess.
Yeah.
For the prestige, exactly, that's the word I'm
Yeah,
looking for.
yeah.
Pero ako kasi I just really want to tell stories. And I guess if it comes from a place of trying to connect to an audience rather than the prestige of it all, mas genuine yung material mo and yung gawa mo.
So it's like more on into passion talaga, King. Nandun talaga yung passion nyo. Passion mo
Yes.
to do films,
Exactly, yes.
script, stories.
Yep. And pero lately, like later on, I realized na it's not really that easy to break into the Filipino film industry. Kasi first of all, the audience has a very how should I say this delicately? Has a taste na hindi angkop sa mga gawa ko. So my own works are not really masa friendly. I realized that, and I realized na especially the projects that I've been on, most of them are get recognized abroad rather than here. So dun ko napagtanto na my audience is more Western, like North American or European audiences. I can reach them more kasi the stories I write are not really particularly Filipino. So wala siyang, like, it's not there's no Filipino flavor to it. It's more universal flavor. Like I write mostly mystery thrillers and science fiction. So I don't think those are like themes na very resonant with local audiences. I am more I'm more cerebral than, like, my works are more cerebral than emotional. So
Malalim, no?
Hindi ako marunong magpaiyak or magpatawa. Ang kaya ko magpaisip, and that's always been my identity as a filmmaker. So yeah.
Alam mo, Bench, excited ako mapanood yung mga pelikula niya. Ngayon pa lang sa description niya kung ano yung genre ng type ng movie na ginagawa niya. Parang exciting.
Mystery, parang may mga mystery
diba,
dyan, no?
Tayong mga Pilipino, sanay tayo sa mga rom-com, sanay tayo sa mga sweetie film, diba? Patwitams.
Pabebe.
Tapos ngayon, itong si King is something na he will offer something different to the viewer.
More on intellectual.
So, imagine ko na yung sinasabi. Ha? Diba?
Oo.
And
even yung
pero it hasn't been
King, when I saw the posters, parang it's something kakaiba talaga. Wala masyadong Filipino touch. Even the poster pa lang, ha? Parang ganon.
So, gusto ko lang malaman kasi
and
kung syempre you don't really cater for the local market. So, and your market is really for the international. So, how do you think you earn from this?
I don't.
Okay.
Like, it's I really don't. Most of the proceeds that my movies make go to the investors. So it's not really like anything I can control. I don't really like get anything, and I don't really care about that. Um, of course, I have to feed myself. So like mahal lang buhay ngayon. I do other things. I work for TV, for advertising, and yun yung what keeps me like financed.
Alive.
Pero yeah,
Keeps you
keeps me
alive.
alive. Yeah. Pero aside from that, ito yung like what you really want to do. That's your what you really call your career, your calling. So ayun. Pero it wasn't an easy journey per se. Kasi there are filmmakers who have had easier paths. Pero that's like an exception to the rule. The journey is not easy kasi it also matters who you know. And even though I'm connected naman because of film school and other things, I don't I'm not really the best in like networking. So I know them, pero I'm not really close to many like like big names. So I have to to find another way to tell my stories out there. And yeah, so I started applying for grants outside the country. I started submitting to film festivals outside the country. Doon na nagsimula. Actually, it's only been it's only last year. It was only last year when my works got really recognized. Uh, for the longest time, it was a struggle. So last year was like my breakout year. I started winning awards and getting selected
Recognized.
for festivals outside the country. And pero I think my one of my proudest achievements was when I got shortlisted for uh, Cinema One Originals a couple of years ago. It was my screenplay called Elsewhere, and medyo na proud ako kasi Ronald Arguelles, the head of Cinema One Originals himself, he was the one who read the script, and he was the one who basically okayed it to become shortlisted. Now, of course, it didn't get to the final thing where it got funded kasi my pitching skills are not really that good. I yeah, I have a lot of things to improve on my pitching. Pero that in itself is an honor already kasi Elsewhere was one of my babies eh. Like I think it's one of my masterpieces.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
let's
And
talk
yeah.
about the
So,
short film that you're going to
to
that we're going
show
to show here in Ganap TV.
GanapTV.
yeah, it's called One Room. It's actually made up of old footages from my previous works and many other footages submitted to me online from all over the world. Kasi it's about humanity sharing this traumatic experience. Uh, it's called One Room kasi I imagine all of humanity locked inside one room right now, and because we're sharing it the same pain and the same trauma. So yeah, that's basically what it is. It's not very inspirational. Actually, it's very grim, and it actually has a sense of hopelessness. And yeah, I'm not really the type kasi who want who wants to like make you feel good or feel better about things. I prefer telling the truth, and I think the truth can be scary, pero it's still better to
To
find
face.
the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, face the truth. Yeah,
Face
exactly.
the truth.
So
And yeah, One Room
curious
is
lang
actually
ako.
Mhm.
King, kasi like you've been telling all the stories now about your film. Is there any reflection of your character, of your personality, or you're just pulling it off? Or kasi ganyan eh, if you're an artist, sometimes it reflects who you are, and
Mhm.
sometimes with your experiences, you just want to show it to the people how your life has been through, something
Mhm.
like that.
Well, like I said, I'm not really the type who bases my stories off of my own experiences. I like imagining something out of nothing.
Okay.
So my ideas are actually my stories are usually ideas that I've had, and then I piece them all together. Actually, ayoko yung I base it off of one idea. That's called ano eh, that's called high concept. High concept movies are sparked from an idea, a question, and they try to answer that question. Pero ako, I prefer piecing together many ideas and trying to ask many questions. Now, of course, meron pa rin a piece of me within the film. It's not based on experience, but more on philosophy. So more on what my truth
Believe.
is. Yeah, what my truth is, and what my perspective is. So yun yung, of course, every director naman, every filmmaker has an imprint on their film naman. And mine is more of telling people the how I view the world. So yeah. So for
And also,
example,
King,
mhm,
like for example, if we're gonna view your film, the way you're telling us, hindi ba magmumukhang story, hindi ba surreal yung approach sa
Approach.
film mo, or hindi ba to kasi realistic ka eh, pero the way you describe your film, the way you put everything together, it will look like a surreal type of movie, something like that.
Film, yeah. Mhm.
yung imagery for this particular film, One Room, is kind of dreamlike, and yeah, it's kind of surreal. Pero at the same time, it's very universal and relatable, I guess. And that's what I wanted to say about my films, not having Filipino values. And I don't think that's a bad thing. It basically it doesn't mean I'm shunning my ancestry, no. It's it's basically just me being more human first than Filipino first. So my stories are about the human condition, not the Filipino condition. And that's not a bad thing, I think. Um, like for example, the story I told you about elsewhere, it's not Filipino. There are no Filipino, like there are no local nuances to it. Pero we can all relate. Like even Filipinos or non-Filipinos, foreigners, everyone can relate kasi it's about a mother.
It's
It's
a
about
general,
motherhood. It's about
yeah.
love.
Mhm.
Basically, it's about love and evolution. Eh.
Mhm.
The evolution of the mind, and it's about a mother's love for a child. Yun yung storya niya. So I guess I just wanted to be more. What I do is not an attempt to be more international. What I It's an attempt to reach out to more people. Gusto ko lang naman i-clarify yung part na yun.
And King, I have a question. Once you are doing a film or a movie, parang it's like, di ba, like yung mga indie film, parang at the end of this story, parang lagi mag-iisip yung mga tao, mga viewers na ano kaya next na mangyayari? Ano kaya nangyari? Parang ganun. Ganun ba yung attack mo sa mga film mo?
Well, I don't have like a set rule into the endings of my movies.
Mhm.
Pero it's usual naman sa akin na there's a plot twist. I like plot twists. I like doing a complete turnaround and defying like your expectations. Kasi I wanted my stories to be unpredictable. Pero mas importante sa akin yung I end it uh, with audiences feeling like what did I just watch, and leaving them thinking. Yun na may mahalaga sa akin. So my movies are not really I don't think they're preachy, and they're not trying to answer questions. My movies, they ask the questions with you, with the audience. So they what I want to do is for my audience to think rather than to teach them or to shove a belief down their throats. It's more about thinking for yourself, thinking what happened there, to analyze
Yes.
it critically. Yeah.
Yeah, pang-intellectual tong movie nito.
Oo nga, no?
Talagang hindi siya pang mass appeal,
Hindi siya
di
pang
ba?
ano.
Oo. So anyway, I have a question also with you. Like, for example, that would compromise who you are, your genre, your style, your being a director, a person. If there's somebody will offer you, like, pwede ka bang gumawa ng pelikula? I'll give you this amount, like ₱1,000,000. Basta gusto ko ganito. And the producer will be the one to dictate you what she or want to produce.
Mhm.
And would you like to do it, or you're still stuck with your own principles, or
Good question. Actually, walang problema sa akin. Pero I just want to clarify that $1,000,000 is not big for a movie.
Ati billions?
So, it's gonna be actually.
Ayaw ng million. Sa
It's gonna be
billions tayo.
1 million. I mean, 1 million is very difficult to get around with kasi
Ano ba yung pinakamahal? Sa'yo, anong pinakamahal? Para ano nila yung isip na gusto ko to. Ako yung producer. Magkano gusto mo, basta gusto kong gawin mo yung gusto kong gawin. Something like that.
Yeah, walang problema sa akin. Actually, with a budget of like 2 to 3 million kaya na eh. And I think it's walang problema sa akin. I'm not really that like proud. What I write is the movies I write and make are movies that reflect who I am. Pero kung may gusto magpagawa and gusto ipasulat at ipadirect sa akin yung idea nila, it's their movie. It's gonna be directed by me and written by me, and I will insert some things about my like a few of my styles there. Pero I would not compromise their own vision. So sa kanila yun. And I'm just gonna be the one to help them make that movie.
To execute.
Yeah.
To execute the film.
Yeah, actually, Bench, diba, maganda rin nga na, maganda rin naman na, you don't just, at least you try to do something like this. Kasi kung meron ka namang venue for you to execute your own style, diba? So, pag meron somebody, a producer that would like to produce a film, you will be the one directing it. So, I think that's another style that, that would cater for your own other side of you, diba?
Yeah.
So,
at least it's a mixed
like
idea, John.
Yeah.
It's more of collaboration.
Yes. Me also like I'm a fashion designer. Hindi naman porket designer ako. Ay, ito suotin mo yan, diba? So, ngayon kasi may mga client na who really they have their own ideas. So, you just have to compromise with their ideas so that you collaborate, you think, and then put all things together to come up with a beautiful. Kasi hindi ka naman ikaw lang eh, diba? So I think that's the thing now eh. Sabi nga nila, malaking bagay na yung collaboration, yung helping each other, building up one another so that you can able to come up and produce something that is more beneficial to everyone. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with it. It's not really, I'm not that the type who refuses a project. It's a project, right? I'm just and I'm really more collaborator. I like hearing others' ideas. Hindi ako yung tipong I dismiss everyone's ideas. Mas
Yeah.
gusto ko na naririnig yun sa inyo kasi it also helps me see others' perspectives. So
Exactly.
it also makes you grow if you listen. Kasi people who don't listen, hindi na sila nag-grow, hindi na
Hindi
sila
na.
nag-improve.
Oo.
Galing.
Nandun na lang.
Ayan. So, yung mga producer dyan,
Oo.
King is willing to direct
To direct.
film for you.
Yeah, hire me. You will win an award. Like, I swear, you will.
Wow.
You will.
Wow. So, tignan nyo yung mga producer dyan, please.
Ayan mo, King, pag meron kaming millions of money, we'll hire you definitely.
If there we have friends that who wants
Yeah,
to do the film,
remember me.
kadang kukontakin namin. At saka, how old are you, King?
I'm 33.
How young are you?
I'm 33.
Oh my God, you're
So
so
young. It's really young. Diba? Pero bata pa yan, pero marami na siyang award-winning film, diba?
yes, oo.
So excited kami na ma-feature namin yung short film mo dito sa GanapTV, and I think I think a lot of viewers will be curious about who King Abalos is.
Yes.
Yeah. So maraming salamat for the time that you have spent with us.
Yes.
Salamat sa point
And thank you
of views
for
mo.
yes, and thank you for trusting us to show your short film.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's my honor.
thank
It's
you.
my honor. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, so
Uh,
You were born on a moving train. And even though it feels like you're standing still, time is sweeping past you, right where you sit. But once in a while you look up and actually feel the inertia and watch as the present turns into a memory, as if some future you is already looking back on it. Déjà vu. One day you'll remember this moment, and it'll mean something very different. Maybe you'll cringe and laugh, or brim with pride, aching to return. Or notice some detail hidden in the scene, a future landmark making its first appearance, or discreetly taking its final bow. So you try to sense it ahead of time, looking for clues, as if you're walking through the memory while it's still happening.
Well, the Philippines has imposed strict quarantine measures across the main island of Luzon, home to half the country's population. Now, the move is to curb the surge of cases, which have risen from just 10 days ago, to 140 now.
The sudden outbreak of the coronavirus has forced the majority of the world's 7.8 billion people right now to be quarantined or locked down in their homes. I think we can all agree that it is a crazy time to be alive.
Matter, superposition, every place it ever occupied. Sentience just cycling through our lives like carts on a track.
This is a write down 5 things I'm grateful for today. I'm able to share this because I want you to see how specific it can be. It works great for me this week.
All your love, all your hate, all your memory, all your pain, it was all the same thing. It was all the same dream, a dream that you had inside a locked room.
A year-old report had warned China of a potential coronavirus outbreak.
You're surrounded by your supporting cast, friends and family hanging in your...
Number 7, ayan, ensure natin na may dala tayong mga protective na gear.
Scattered a little further out, a network of acquaintances who drift in and out of contact. There in the background, faint and out of focus, are the extras, the random passers-by, each living a life as vivid and complex as your own. They carry on invisibly around you, bearing the accumulated weight of their own ambitions. When your life moves on to the next scene, there's flickers in place, wrapped in a cloud of backstory, inside jokes, and characters strung together with countless other stories that you'll never be able to see. That you'll never know exists, in which you might appear only once.
This is a world where nothing is solved. And someone once told me time is a flat circle. Everything we've ever done or will do, we're gonna do over and over and over again. And that little boy and that little girl, they're gonna be in that room again. And again. And again. Forever. And that is the terrible and secret fate of all life. You're trapped. Like a nightmare you keep waking up into.
No, they're out there. Doctors, lawyers, postal workers. Some of them doing great, some of them doing lousy. You're gonna base your whole life on who you got stuck in a room with?
I'm gonna base this moment on who I'm stuck in a room with. That's what life is. It's a series of rooms. And who we get stuck in those rooms with adds up to what our lives are.
So mga kaganap, thank you for having me. It's my pleasure to be here. My works right now some of them are available on the links you will see on your screens. My film One Room is selected to the Latino Film Festival in South America. Maria right now is gonna compete at the Las Vegas International Film Festival in Nevada. And my other film, the latest, it's called The Lovecraft Experiment, is featured in Off the Script Films. You will see the links all on your screen, and you can follow me on social media as well.
Yan. Thank you. Thank you so much. King, maraming salamat. Maraming salamat.
Thank you.
Sa Ganap TV, kayo
ang bida.
bida.
Yes.